Welcome back, everybody, to the Board YouTube channel for your Monday pick and roll. Brand new week. We're starting out February 24th today with a decent slate of NBA games, hoping to keep the great run on the show going. It's been a fantastic string of results, and we'll recap those in just a second here. But the previous show was a 3-0 clean sweep. So for everyone tailing, hey, if you did cash with us, please make sure you do hit the like button on the stream, support the stream, help get it out to new people. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe because we do shows like this where we cover the entire NBA slate. We give out free picks and we listen to your questions, answer your bets to see what pips is feeling on them every weekday morning right here on the Board YouTube channel presented by the FanDuel Sportsbook at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time. And we'll pull up the recap of the run that we're on here. Good tweet here from my co-host PipsNBA who brought it up. But it is an 11-2 run overall on the show. Like I said, 3-0 on the Friday slate. We had Duran over points. We had Adebayo over points, which thankfully he actually went off in overtime to get there. Donovan Mitchell over on points as well. And then, like we saw, we had 2 4-1 days as well leading up to that point. So please make sure you're locked in on the show to get more free picks like this. So let's just get started here. We'll go to the top of the slate unless there is somewhere else we need to go, but we'll get started with, let's get it out of the way. We got the Brooklyn Nets away at the Washington Wizards. Brooklyn 3-point favorites on the road. Is there anything you can give us for this one?
No comment on this game. Yeah, awful game, no bets. Not even close.
No problem there. We can just skip that. That's fine. We have the Denver Nuggets next up, -5 away at the Pacers. Denver. Jokic said recently that Denver have kind of fooled themselves into thinking they're maybe better than they are because they're beating teams with injuries and are missing players. But they're 37-20. They're on a 9-1 run. Like, they're playing good ball here. The Pacers have been on a pretty good run as well. They're 32-23. But Denver -5 away from home. How do you see this one?
I think this should be close, but I don't know how the Pacers defend Jokic. Daniel is just not up to task. But I completely agree with what Jokic said. And they are doing that kind of thing in the entire season, beating poor teams. I mean, you should be able to beat poor teams, but they lose. They lost against the Bulls. They lost to the Wolves. They lost to the Knicks, but then they crazy run. 76ers without Embiid, only by 3. Hornets only by 3. But terrible Pelicans twice. Orlando terrible now once. Suns without key players. Portland twice. Hornets. Yeah, they did beat they were huge favorites in all of these games. They were at least 5 points per favorites in all of these games. So
right,
they were supposed to win them. Probably on average 8 or 9 points favorites. So yeah, the only game
acknowledged by Jokic, as I said. But hey, you can only beat what's in front of you. So it is you're building up your record. You're getting a home playoff seed. Oh, good.
Yep. Agree.
Betting wise on this game, is there anything you're looking at?
Nope. We can move next one.
Not this game here. Next up, we've got the Bulls away at Philadelphia. Both of these teams, well, they're in the mix for the final play-in tournament spot in the East. Questions if either of them want it. I don't think either of them do want it. But the Sixers, who are on just a horrible run at the moment here, they've lost 7 in a row. They've lost 9 of their last 10. The Bulls have lost 6 in a row. They've lost 8 of their last 10. I think these are the two biggest. Yeah, these are the two longest losing streaks, I think, currently in the NBA, along with the Wizards who have lost 6 in a row. So somebody's got to win, unfortunately. So how do you see this one?
Rough. I think 76ers should win still. But depends on Maxi playing. If Maxi is out, then maybe even Bulls win. So yeah, Maxi is questionable for this one. So tough one. Bulls are weird. They can win and lose by 30 back-to-back games. So similar stuff with 76ers. Both teams think similar to the Nets and Wizards. So not a thing on this game.
All right, we're 3 games in, going through the FanDuel slate here. No free picks as of yet, but perhaps on the way shortly. Before we go any further, a word from our presenting sponsor here, the FanDuel Sportsbook, because when the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning at America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel. FanDuel is the presenting sponsor here on the Board YouTube channel that's made it possible to do the show this season, but FanDuel is also the home of NBA live betting. So even if you missed the first few minutes of a game or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can make your picks from the first whistle until the final buzzer. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. Whoever you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. New FanDuel customers get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's it, just a $5 bet to get you started for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/board to join today. That's FanDuel.com/board. Or to make it even easier, you can just go to the link in the description wherever you are watching, whether it's on YouTube or in audio form, for your shot at those $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 plus and present in select states or Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet to expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-FanDuel. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelpline.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Back up on the FanDuel slate here, we've got the impressive Los Angeles Clippers -2 away at the very impressive Detroit Pistons. Both teams currently 6th in their respective conferences. 31-26 the Pistons, 31-25 the Clippers. But for this game, anything from you, Pips?
Yeah, we are going to bet over on Kawhi Leonard's points over 20.5.
Back to Kawhi Leonard on FanDuel at the moment. We have Kawhi at 20.5 at -112. We'll just take a quick look to see how that compares to the rest of the market. That looks
Best
pretty
in the
good, though.
market. Yeah.
Best in market. There's other spots as well that have this -112 if you'd like to play it there. But -112 will be the official play here for Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, so it's been the minute stuff. Last 4 games, he played 34 minutes to 32 minutes, like almost no minutes restriction. Usage has been great, all but that one game against the Utah Jazz. Last game, 33%. Game before that, 28%, 34%, 29%, 28%. So kind of always in the 25% or more range. So when he plays 28 plus minutes this season with 20% usage or higher, he averaged 22.3 points over in 4 out of the 6. If we go to the last season, when he is playing between 26 and 36 minutes, and with usage over 22%, because that's his usage this season without Paul George. We can see that on the entire season, he is over this line in 66% of the games, averaging 23 points. We can get a bit more conservative with minutes and go like 28 plus, and usage with 24 plus percent. It increases a bit, but the most important part of this bet is the matchup wise. The Pistons allow a ton of jumpers to opposing best players. They just protect the rim and allow jumpers. As we can see, they allow 20. They are ranked 25th above the break 3, 20th as the mid range, 24th mid range paint non-restricted area. And as we can see, Kawhi is really well balanced. 23% at the rim, 17 paint non-rim, 26% mid-range, 27% above the break 3. So he is shooting a ton from everywhere. But mostly it's pull-up shooting. and that's where Pistons allow a ton of points. So the only way you can have a Duran at the 5 and be fourth best rim defense is because you kind of force guys to take jumpers inside. Also, they are 25th against pick and roll ball handlers. That's the most dominant way of scoring for Kawhi. Also, he scores a lot of from free throws, where they allow a ton of points. Similar players, we had Durant, 36 points. Like, if you need to pick one player that's the most similar to Kawhi, I think we will go with KD, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, he had 36 points. Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner with 32. Even Bridges scored 30 points. So yeah, KD had earlier this season 43. So KD had 36 and 43. So I think we are good with Kawhi here. 20 and a half points, even though Norman Powell is questionable. He could be out. They were both out last game,
Mhm.
and Kawhi is now probable, so he's playing, but they are uncertain with Norman Powell. He has a questionable tag, so that could probably means that he's, I will say, more unlikely to play than to play, because as I said, both were out and now they have Kawhi playing, so that means Kawhi just got the rest, while Norman Powell probably has some issues with injury. I'll just check what's the question tag. It's left knee soreness. I'm not looking at something serious, but could be out, and that helps a ton to Kawhi
But
Leonard.
you'll
But
still be fine with the
yeah,
play of
yeah.
Paladin.
Even with him playing, the line was 19 and a half last game.
Okay.
So now question tag. So they only increased it by 1 point with Norman Powell questionable. And with Norman Powell is ruled out, I could see this going up to 22 and a half, probably 23 and a half, which
Yeah.
is, if it's a 50-50 and you had 1 point off, 1 point higher line, and it will move to 3 points higher if he is out, I think we are good here overall.
Okay, there we go. First official play. Kawhi Leonard over 20 and a half points, minus 112 at FanDuel. A lot of books don't have player props up for this game. So we shall see if others open up where other prices lie, but we get the best price in market currently, minus 112 on FanDuel. Make sure you guys like the stream if you're tailing that first play. We can move into the second game. The next game here. We have the Miami Heat -1 away at the Atlanta Hawks, a new look Miami Heat team profiting from better play from Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero was an all-star. He had a great game the other day against the Raptors. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, so I do think Miami wins this. I don't see how Hawks win this game. Uh,
Hawks are
honestly, like,
struggling. They've 26-31. They've lost 3 in a row. Yeah.
I don't, honestly, like, I don't see it for the Hawks. I mean, I may be wrong, but Trae Young, they lost 3 in a row, even though Trae Young was scored 38 in three straight games. Trae Young 38 against the Knicks, 38 against Orlando, 38 against Pistons, and now he gets Davion Mitchell for the entire game. It's
Yep.
tough to see him scoring 38 again. I mean, if he doesn't score that many points, I don't see how they can win this. So yeah, it's rough. We'll bet one Hawks player. It's Ricochet over 11 and a half points. I think it's best price in FanDuel.
Okay. Zachary Rizache, the recent first overall pick in the NBA draft, over 11 and a half points, -125 available at FanDuel. There's -130 available as well, which I'm sure would also
Yeah,
be fine to take.
I would say, yeah, there are some -122, but mostly best price on FanDuel, and I will play at -130, so that's okay.
All
Uh,
right. There we go. Second play.
the reason I'm betting this is, as usually with rookies, I'll just say, like, last when he's playing 22 plus minutes, 22 to 32, over the last 2 months, he's over this line in 11 out of 10 out of 13 games, so 77% win rate and averaging 15 points, which is like I would say usual path for most rookies. Like they just start playing well like around New Year. I would say they usually struggle with first 2 months of the season, 2.5 months, and then they suddenly start playing well.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened with Risachet. As in January, he was shooting 47% from the field, 37% from three. In February, even increased that to 50% from the field, 47% from three. Of course, not sustainable, not even a question about it. But if we combine in 2025, he's shooting 41% from the three. He came to the as a first pick as a shooter, uh, athletic shooter, long. So I kind of expect him to be like a good shooter overall. He was terrible to start the season. First 3 months of the season, he shot below 30%. So I think expecting from him 37 for career could be a reasonable take, in my opinion. So if you look at these games, last 13 games with 22 minutes, I'll first go to the last game. He played 31 minutes last night against the Pistons, took 10 field goal attempts and 5 free throws. So that's 10 field goal attempts and 5 free throws. Against the Orlando Magic, he took 15 field goal attempts. He was 1 from 10 from twos, which is highly unlikely to happen for a guy his size. Then game was against the Knicks, 11 field goal attempts. Wizards, 12 field goal attempts. So he's mostly clearing this line with attempts. Like that's crazy. And to have a 11 and a half line when he is increasing his minutes and no Hunter, no Bogdanovic, uh, did like this usage must go somewhere. And I think they are looking to add it to looking to find their number one pick from this season, especially since the season is going down the road. Like they are not making playoffs this season. This is just a logical approach. Like after the All Star break, you pump the minutes to your future guys. Additionally, all this happened, but we need to add that, as I said earlier, Trey Young, only guy that can score on this team, is going against Davion Mitchell. That could lead to some more usage to guys like Risachet, because like first off, Miami is usually very aggressive against Trey Young. Like they are just taking the ball from his hands a lot. Plus Davion Mitchell, I really struggle to see huge usage for Trey Young. Let's say Trey Young takes 20 attempts, then it's like 65 attempts left for the entire team of the Hawks. And when you look at the team, it's Jason Daniels, low usage guy. Muhammad Gay, yeah, very low usage guy. Okongwu, he shots that only the stuff that Trey Young creates, like pick and roll layups or alley oops, like not much. Then of the bench, Terrence Mann, low usage guy. Clint Capella, low usage guy. George Liang, spot up shooter, and additionally Caris LeVert. So I would say like offensively, Zahari Risachet should be like second or third scoring option for this team. So 11 and a half for 28 minutes as a second scoring option is just way too low. So I do think this line should be 13 and a half actually. So this is why we are betting it.
Yep. Understood there. Jorge asked if the 12 and a half plus 100 is okay. I mean, math wise, I'd say that's fine. It's probably better than minus 130.
Yeah, I would say like pretty much the same. If it's like 22 and a half minus 130 and 24 and a half plus 100, it's easy math for plus 100. On this lower line, it's much closer. But I will say, yeah, I do think it's minus 125 and plus 100 are pretty even. This could be better than minus 130, but
yeah,
it's so close that it's what you prefer actually.
Okay. I would say the minus 125, 11 and a half should be better here. But I would believe the plus 100 would be better than the minus 130 at the lower 11 and a half. Yeah. But yes, you're right. The points are a lot more valuable the lower you go, for sure. Also on this game, any comment on the over here? Bear Commander Go Bears asks if you like the over 228 and a half, at minus 110.
Yeah, I spent like 5 minutes talking about how I don't see how Hawks score
So
in this one. So yeah, I'm not in favor of overs. But the pace will be insane. Like always, Hawks lead the league in the pace, or are they are second in pace. So high
yeah.
pace actually works really well for Miami because they struggle in half court offense. So I don't know. I think this is set correctly, honestly.
Three more games to go through, then we will get to the questions. I'm queuing them up for later on as well. Next up, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder, 12.5 point favorites at home to Minnesota. And Minnesota have been, they're decent. They're 31-27. It's just the Thunder are a winning machine. Injuries for the Timberwolves. Gobert was out yesterday. Julius Randle is still out. Uh, Deontay DiVincenzo probably also still out here. So dealing with injuries, but still a crazy spread here considering the talent of both teams. But Oklahoma are just so good.
Yeah, I mean, Chet has a question tag, but and it's back to back. So I actually think Chet should not play this. No reason to play him in back to back. So
Mm-hmm.
when he gets ruled out, I think this spread moves a bit.
Yeah.
Down to like 10. I don't know. Maybe people are expected, so um, they kind of already in the spread could be. But yeah, I don't know. Weird spread since they played a couple of days ago and Wolves won. Then last night it was very highly competitive game. It ended up by 7 points, but it was like tight game for most of the second half. So it's weird to have this spread, but both these games Wolves played at home, now they go away, and their record away is not that great. Actually, they are actually doing well away. Just looking, I just saw that they lost to the Houston and the Cleveland last two, but overall they are pretty evenly split home and away. So I don't know, maybe it's a bit too high, but I get it why it's too high because
Well,
no
no
Reno, but
Gobert.
that showed to be not like an important stuff for the Wolves without Randall. No, Rudy Gobert is definitely
That's big.
important for
That's big.
yeah. I just saying like he's still the best in the league when it's come to rim defense and rim deterrence. Like when the yeah. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well,
especially
actually, it
like
might be Wembanyama, but Rudy Gobert's
no,
top two.
Wembanyama is second.
Okay.
The Gobert is actually first.
Well, there you
Uh,
go.
yeah,
So that's impressive in itself.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean, there's a reason he's won so many Defensive Player of the Year awards. Any bets for this game, or are we going to the next?
Can we check the lines for Nas Reed over on points?
Yes. Nas Reed points on FanDuel here, 17.5, minus 132. Other books we have. Oof. There's a
It's
there's a
it's weird. So some lower lines, some higher lines.
yeah, there's plus 100 that exists. I'm gonna see if that's stale. Like if that's sorry, I'm gonna see if that's still up because that's
I think it's stale. I think there is minus 110 and minus 125. That's what I see.
yeah Nas got off the board at the spot that had plus 100, so that doesn't exist. So yeah, I think this is moving. There's minus 111 at some spots, but tough to get down there, and I'm sure that's going to move.
Yeah, we
So
won't do this
it's
because
moving.
it's like I don't like minus 132 at all. Huge juice. I would prefer even an 18 and a half plus 100 over that stuff. But the whole
Yeah.
entire market is heavily juiced. No, 18 and a half.
Oh,
So
sorry, the 18.5 is a minus 111 I was looking at. So yeah, this is all minus 120 or worse. But even the minus 120
minus
is not
120
super available.
works, but it's
Not
not
super
widely
available
if you have
if you have it.
read a good price, minus 120 or better, you bet the over on 17 and a half. Yeah.
There you
Minus
go.
135 is the last resort. Minus 132 is. I
Too
would
far.
prefer, yeah, too far.
So yeah, if you have access, feel free to play. But for, in fairness, for show tracking, we don't want to play a number that's not available for the majority of the audience to get. So we'll pass on that. But maybe you can find something where you can bet it. Next game, we have the Trailblazers, 5.5-point favorites away at the Utah Jazz. The Blazers have been just still kind of winning games. They're still doing pretty well as of late. I know they're a bottom 3 seed in the West, but it feels like this should be a win over the Jazz in Utah.
Yeah, especially since the injury report for the Jazz entire team. No Sexton, no Kessler, no John Collins, no. I mean, Kessler and Markkanen are doubtful. Clarkson, John Collins, and Sexton are out. So entire starting lineup is out probably. So I will actually bet -1, like not an official bet, but
5.5.
5.5 looks like a good bet on this one.
Right. Betting wise, player props, anything you're looking at?
Can't do much without Lauri Markkanen and Kessler being confirmed. But if they were, if Kessler was out, confirmed, and Markkanen, I will seriously look into Donovan Klingon over points and rebounds and assists.
Okay.
I think it's a 17.5. I don't know if it moved. I didn't check for the last half an hour. Let me just check. Klingon, points, rebounds, and assists. Yeah, this is -150. Yeah, it low moved a ton. -120. Yeah, -125. So over 16.5 points and rebounds. Could work. I'll show you. Him with 18 plus minutes on 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists against teams who are outside the top 10 in the league. He's over in 7 out of 9, 20.5. That's with only 18 plus minutes. If you go like I expect him to play like 22.5 or 24, he then averaged 25. He averaged like 21 points and rebounds per 20 points and rebounds per 25 minutes. That's how much I think he plays. But if the Utah Jazz don't have Markkanen, Collins, and Kessler, he should kill them on the glass. Like he should be like at least a couple of putbacks, which brings the points rebounds number really high, very quick. Yeah.
So that's if you're looking at that if Markkanen is and Kessler are out.
Yep.
But we don't have any confirmation as of
yet.
I
mean, if Kessler is out, Markkanen can play. I don't.
Okay.
I think
so not going to play it for the show, but something maybe to consider later.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Last game. We have the Sacramento Kings, 11-point favorites at home to Charlotte. Anything from you to end off the slate here?
Yeah, let's move to the questions from the chat.
Okay. Questions from the chat. Quite a few bets asked today. We'll go back to the top. We had these early on in the show. We have Droshko asking about Anthony Edwards under 26.5 points at 1.83 odds. I think that's about -120.
Yep.
But yeah,
it's
-120.
Yeah, I don't like this because matchup wise it's difficult, man. But I think now the line moved way too low. I'll just I've looked into it a lot. Anthony Edwards over the last 23 games since early January, averaging 32.3 points. So this line is moved by 5 points. This should, if it was like a game against, I don't know, Bucks or Utah or Suns, this line will be 31.5. So they adjusted it to 26.5. Last night it was 28. He covered, and then they put 26. I have no idea why they put 26. Can I bet the over? I don't know. Matchup is insanely tough. Every single number out there is crazy. But I do think this is a bit overcorrection. At the best, this line has no value.
Okay. So not a vote of confidence there. Droshko has another one early as well, asking about Trae Young under 28.5 points at 1.85, which is about -117. There's actually a couple people who asked about this one in the end. I know you have the over on Riza Shea. So I don't know if you want something else here, but would you also lean towards the under on Trae Young?
Yep. 28.5 seems like a reach. Even though like there is no one else to score. Let's be real. Like there is no one else to score on this my hit Hawks team. And I think that showed in the last 3 games where he scored 38, 3 straight games. Uh 28, so 24 field goal attempts and 15 free throws. 28 field goal attempts, 10 free throws. 29 field goal attempts and 14 free throws. Usage average 37. 37% usage over the last 4 games, over the last 3 games. If it like the lowest it was is 35%. If you take a look at this season, Trae Young with 32% or higher usage, he's over this line in 13 out of 15 games with 34 points average. I get it. The matchup is incredibly difficult, but we can see that okay, Lillard was doubled. He scored 28. Maxi scored 31. Lillard again 29. Harden 26. The thing is, Miami last season, we can look this here. The best defense against pick and roll ball handlers, number one by far. This season, they are ranked as 13th. They moved from the best to 13th. Actually, they were the best for the first month of the season, and then they readjusted. Started Kelal Ware, played a bit of drop coverage, not that aggressive against pick and roll ball handlers, and the numbers tanked. So it's not like the last couple of seasons when betting dominant pick and roll ball handlers against Miami was a lock every single game. But I still think they could be doubling him. But if I was starting Davion Mitchell, I would not double Trae Young. Makes no sense. You just waste a great defensive player. Uh, I think single coverage against the Davion should be enough to put Trae Young out of some very efficient game. And I do lean under, I will say, but the usage will be still insane.
Okay, so lots of info there for the Trae Young potential play. We ended up going with Reese Ashe for the show. Next up, Turk Blaz asked about Jamal Murray over 20.5 points at minus 125 odds.
Jamal is a bit weird player. Like one game he's shooting 40 times and scoring 50 points. Next game he doesn't even look to shoot. Not consistent guy, but I do lean over. Think the matchup is great, and they can't be aggressive when Jamal Murray when Jokic is out there. Jokic is primary target, and they started doubling players this season. If they double Jokic, Jamal Murray should have a walk in this one.
Next up, Denny Avdia over 19.5 points plus assists at minus 110.
I don't know. His minutes are kind of weird. I looked into this one. I'll show you. So minutes. 23 in a blowout, then 34, then 28, then 34, then 23, 18, 23. I have no idea. Like if he gets 30 minutes, sure, but he needs to get 30 minutes. If he's not getting 30 minutes, let's look at his numbers. If he gets 20 to 28 minutes, he's under this line 22 out of 26, up to 28 minutes. Then if you we'll take a look at like 28 to 32, he's still under most of the time. So actually, I don't know. I don't think it's a good bet, honestly. Like it's a wild guessing game. If Marker and Kessler are out, this could be a blowout as well.
Yep. Fair enough. Next up, Aaron Gordon over 13.5 points at minus 118.
Looks high. Last game he played 35 minutes. That's overall great. So he getting 30 minutes for sure tonight. How he does when he plays big minutes? He does really well. I lean over. Yeah, I lean over. because the unders came against Clippers and Thunders. Those were really tough matchups. Similar type of matchup is Pelicans. He scored 17, uh, Raptors 16, Hornets 18. So could be good with good minutes. And yeah, he played big minutes last game.
We have Jelko asking about Bam Adebayo over 19.5 points at minus 110. We've seen
I think,
Adebayo's line really climb lately.
yeah, I do think the matchup is great. I do think the line is corrected.
Okay.
Do think like line is pretty well set. I will maybe go at 20 and a half looking at the matchup, but it's close. And also, a bit overcorrected, I would say, for Adebayo. Like, he was shooting so miserably to start the season, and now he started shooting so well. Like, that shooting is not sustainable. Like, last game, 202 from three. Game before that, 62% from the field. Game before that, 3 from 4 from three. Yeah, he the shots are just falling for him now, everything he takes. So I think that needs a bit correction as well.
We have a few more to go through here. We have Nick Smith Jr. over 14.5 points at plus 100.
I don't like that. I think that's too high with Lamelo and with both Lamelo and Miles playing. That he had 12 and a half line when Lamelo was off. Now with Lamelo, 14 and a half. Yeah, I'll check this on the screen, but I think I know what's the reason here. I think he had so many games where he just overshot. Uh, I'll check the numbers with Lamelo playing, with Miles Bridges playing. So if you take a look at the last, he started playing more minutes in January. So last 9 games with Lamelo and Miles playing, he's over this line in only 3 games and averaging 12.12 points, 12.2 points. I don't see it honestly. Like this line, this I'm actually leaning under almost. Uh, Matchup is great, no issues there, but this could actually be a blowout, and then he plays limited minutes. And interesting, last game they lost by 53, and he played 33 minutes, so kind of maybe blowout proof. But yeah, still don't like the over at 14 and a half. That line seems a reach for me personally.
Three more player props, then one other question afterwards. Daniel asked about Paul George's points under 18.5 at minus 105, because last week the lines were 13.5, 14.5. They've gone up here. Do you see the under as a play?
No Embiid and Maxi is questionable. That's why the line is 18 and a half. So Embiid is doubtful. I do think he doesn't play. Maxi, if he's in, the line will go back to 17 and a half or 16 and a half. Without Maxi, this line could be 20 and a half. So I think 18 and a half is fair. Like they are playing the middle.
And actually, it's one more player prop question here. Andrew Wiggins over 2.5 assists, minus 140.
Never looked at this, but I will do it on the spot. So interestingly, last game 5 potential assists. That's not 40 minutes, 5 potential assists. That's not, against the Bucks. 42 minutes against the Raptors, only 3 potential assists. 5 assists against the Boston, but without Tyler Hero. Yeah, I don't think this is a good bet, especially at that kind of juice.
Okay, last question. Not a player prop bet, but there was conversations around what to do when starting a new account on a sportsbook. So potentially you're signing up to a sportsbook, you're just getting started there. What are the practices that you should be taking on when you start at that sportsbook to ensure that account will remain usable for a longer period of time? So I'll start here because I've thought about it the entire show. Most important time, because this got asked pre-show. the most important time for your account's longevity is when you first open up the account, because they are going to be looking at your bet. So if you open an account and just start picking off stale numbers, looking for off market stuff, playing that, closing the tab or exiting the app or whatever, that is going to be flagged relatively quickly. So in the early stages, especially, you should always be worried about account longevity. But in the early stages, especially, parlays will be helpful. Um, Making sure that you're actually like surfing through the app. Like if you go and make a good bet, that's fine, of course. Just don't just close the app. Don't just exit the tab. Look around different markets, shop around different stuff on the app. Like make it look like you're looking for things on the fly. All of these things are recognized and will help your account longevity in the long run. So you might be making minus EV plays in the short term, but it's maximizing your EV because you have that out for a longer period of time. Anything from you, Pips, on that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, priming is always like a go-to thing for like first 3 to 4 days for me. If I think the account will be in trouble, some accounts don't need that, but can't name it on the show. Uh, Dunk bets to start, like taking something that's like negative zero value on the like not negative. I would say like no value on either side. Like you have like ne- mm, some bet that's zero value. I will bet like at the post some stupid stuff. But
Yeah,
not,
timing as
not
well is
really.
big. I didn't
Yeah,
mention that.
yeah. But I will bet at the post a ton, making some big parlays as well. Uh, yeah, that's about it. But I would say like the most important thing is I would say with player props, I'm not talking about any units. If you have like $10 and it's $20 and that's fine. If you're trying to like make something out of it, I would say uh, I always max bet on my player props on accounts. Maybe not on FanDuel always, like they have some huge limits. But most of these rec books or soft books, I always max bet. If I'm going to lose account, I'll lose it same way. If I'm betting like $100 or like 250, 300, that's mostly the limits on these books. So whenever I'm betting the max bet because, as I said, like if I win, let's say I win 100 $100 bets or win 100 $250 bets. It's like the profit is incredible, and I will get limited the same, almost the same way if I'm winning 100 bets on $100 or 100 bets on
Yeah.
$250. And the other scenario, I max out the account. I think
So,
that's
so
one of the.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I think that's one of the most important stuff.
Yeah. You need to kind of like, from your perspective, just using the account for everything it's worth, knowing you're going to get limited anyways. It's plus EV to just pound your edge until you can't anymore. In other situations, depending who you are, like I'm not max betting player props all the time. So for me, the account longevity is big. My access to additional accounts is less than what Pips has access to. So that account means I'm a bit more worried about keeping that open. So everybody's different, but
Yeah,
in
you
the early
probably
phase, keeping that account primed is big.
you're mostly betting yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, in that case, sure. Like, but yeah, I'm not. I
You're in a
mainly.
different position, of course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I honestly like. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it because I need to mention so many books. But overall, I would say like yeah, I get it. It's different to everyone. Like every
Yeah.
single you need to check what's best for you. So it's personal. I would say most
Yes.
of all.
And
Yeah.
I want to bring this up because good friend Trillionaire, respectfully, this is just a good example, says losing at first will help. It actually doesn't really help.
Yeah.
You could definitely get destroyed by the book, and then they'll still limit you so you can't win it back. It's happened to me.
The
Sure,
yeah.
it's happened to you, Pips. You just
Yeah.
run bad.
Worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. You lose an account that you are not even up money.
Yeah.
That you are down money. That's.
Which
I
is the biggest indicator that they don't care about winners. They care about CLV. If you're getting CLV, they're going to cook your account
I
because
would
even if
say
you lose, they will cook your account.
I will say it's definitely different from book to book.
Yeah,
Some books, most of the books care about CLV. Some books care about profit. I will say, tested that stuff so many times. But yeah, I will say CLV is the most important.
typically that's what sports books are looking for. So yes, you can lose and still get limited. I think that is the most annoying thing that could happen because they take your money and don't give you a chance to win it back. But hey, they're allowed to do it, so it is what it is. Hopefully, good discussion. That wraps up the show today. 2 picks, great run in the show. 11-2 on free picks, 7-1 last week. Looking to go 2-0 here today. Drop a like if you enjoyed the show, and if you're tailing the picks, make sure you're subscribed because we're here every weekday morning for shows just like this one. We have Kawhi Leonard over 20.5 points, which we took at -112 to start off. Then we have Zachary Riz-Shea over 11.5 points, -125. Both plays were available at FanDuel. If you can get -130 on Riz-Shea, it's also fine, but consider a 12.5 plus 100 if that's out there as well. But let's have a good week, everybody. Let's hope this one gets us started. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time for more from Pick and Roll, presented by the FanDuel Sportsbook.